Send them back to France. This bold outburst from GB News star Andrew Pearce is ringing loud and clear as Britain grapples with a massive migrant crisis. As research conducted by Oxford University experts revealed up to 745,000 illegal migrants residing in the UK, the conversation about what to do has reached a boiling point. The question many are now asking is, can Keir Starmer's Labour government get a grip on the situation? With Starmer scrapping the Rwanda plan, an action that senior Tories have slammed, his leadership is already being criticised for a soft-touch approach on immigration. Britain faces a reckoning, and Labour seems dangerously close to losing control. The scale of the problem is staggering. According to the research, Britain is home to nearly 750,000 illegal migrants. And the flow doesn't seem to be slowing down. On one single day in 2024, 973 migrants crossed the English Channel in 17 small boats, setting a record for the year. The total number of migrants making the dangerous journey across the Channel has reached 26,612 so far this year, a 5% increase from the same time in 2023. But it's not just the numbers causing alarm, it's Labour's response, or lack thereof, that has many Britons fuming. Andrew Pearce's remarks about sending migrants back to France tap into a growing frustration with the perceived inaction from the government. In a heated exchange on GB News, Pearce confronted political commentator Nigel Nelson, arguing that the problem could be solved simply by sending migrants back to France, the country they most recently came from. Nelson, however, was more cautious. He reminded viewers that Starmer's Border Security Command had only just been established, saying, "We can't expect a result yet." The conflict between a hardline stance and a cautious approach has left the public confused and concerned. Piers Pottinger, another political commentator, suggested that returning migrants to their point of origin, whether it be France or more dangerous regions like war-torn countries, could spark a human rights backlash. You can't just send people back into danger, Pottinger argued. But Pearce was adamant. France is a safe country. They were there. Send them back. This crisis comes at a precarious time for Starmer and his government. His decision to scrap the Conservative-led Rwanda plan, which aimed to send migrants to Rwanda for processing, was intended as a more compassionate approach. However, critics argue it has instead emboldened smugglers and made Britain an even more attractive target for illegal crossings. Tories are lashing out at Labour, accusing Starmer of dismantling the only deterrent that had any chance of stopping the crisis. Labour, meanwhile, defends its actions. A Home Office source stated that Labour's new Border Security Command was already making headway in its mission to break down people-smuggling gangs. "We've increased returns of those living here illegally and set up a command specifically designed to target the criminal gangs making millions off these crossings," the source said. Still, critics point to the failures of previous immigration policies and question whether Starmer's government is capable of making real progress where others have failed. But immigration isn't the only issue threatening to derail Starmer's government. Domestically, Labour is facing outrage over the treatment of pensioners and dementia patients as the October 30th budget approaches. Derek Brown, a 74-year-old pensioner from Northallerton, is one of many calling for clarity on the fate of council tax discounts for vulnerable individuals. Derek has been caring for his wife, Margaret, who was diagnosed with dementia in 2018 and can no longer walk or speak. As her full-time carer, Derek qualifies for a 25% discount on their council tax under current regulations. But with Labour under pressure to make difficult financial decisions, Derek fears this crucial discount could be scrapped in the upcoming budget. "When Margaret looks at me and doesn't know who I am, it's like a knife to the heart," Derek shared with GB News, describing the emotional toll of his wife's illness. On top of this heartbreak, the financial strain has been immense. Margaret needs the heating on constantly because she can't regulate her body temperature anymore. "I'm already losing the £300 heating allowance, and now they want to take away the council tax discount too." Derek's voice was full of frustration as he explained the grim reality facing many families caring for loved ones with dementia. The pensioner is among many who are campaigning for the council tax discount to remain in place, especially for the most vulnerable in society. Derek's concerns reflect the broader sense of betrayal many feel toward a government that promised to protect its most vulnerable citizens. "How are people with dementia supposed to survive without this support?" Derek asked, highlighting how the removal of discounts could have catastrophic effects on families already struggling to get by. The fear that pensioners and the elderly will be left out in the cold, both literally and figuratively, is spreading quickly. With the cost of living continuing to rise, families like Derek's are being forced to make impossible choices between keeping the heat on and paying for essentials like food. "Why should I have to cut down on meals just to keep Margaret warm?" Derek questioned, capturing the dilemma facing many households across Britain. Chancellor Rachel Reeves is under increasing pressure to clarify her stance on this issue ahead of the October budget. While the Treasury has reportedly said that some pensioner discounts will remain in place, there is growing unease that too many essential services for the elderly are being cut at a time when they are needed most. "We are committed to fairness in the tax system," a Treasury source said. But fairness, according to Derek and others, seems to be in short supply. The brewing scandal over dementia care and pensioner discounts is just one element of the broader dissatisfaction with Labour's handling of the economy. Another key issue coming to the forefront is fuel duty, with the current 5p per litre cut set to expire in March 2025. For the past 11 years, fuel duty has been frozen under Conservative leadership, but that could soon change under Labour's stewardship. The rising cost of fuel is already hitting families and businesses hard, and the prospect of an increase in fuel duty has raised alarm bells. Conservative MP Luke Evans pressed Energy Secretary Ed Miliband on the issue in the Commons, asking for clarity on whether Labour intends to freeze the 5p cut or allow it to expire. Miliband dodged a direct answer, instead voicing support for the pump watch scheme that would ensure transparency in fuel prices across forecourts. However, Evans was not satisfied. "What are you doing to keep prices low at the pump?" he demanded, echoing the concerns of millions of drivers. The current average price for petrol is 134.46 per litre, while diesel sits at 139.15 per litre. If the 5p cut is allowed to expire, these prices are likely to rise even further, pushing the cost of living up for millions of Britons. For a government already struggling with public dissatisfaction, a fuel price hike could be politically disastrous. As Labour's first budget looms, the stakes couldn't be higher for Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves. The migrant crisis, the growing scandal over pensioner care, and the looming decision on fuel duty are all placing tremendous pressure on the Labour leadership. With each passing day, the calls for clarity and decisive action grow louder. The migrant crisis alone is shaping up to be a defining issue for Labour as the party tries to navigate between the humanitarian complexities and the need for stronger border controls. Will Starmer's cautious approach pay off, or is Andrew Pearce's demand to send them back to France becoming a rallying cry for a frustrated public? Labour's next moves will determine whether they can hold on to power or if this mounting series of crises will spell their downfall. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more political updates. It was John. See you on the next episode.